Welcome to our monthly brew gathering here to talk about the sun moving into Pisces season and those moon energies that come along with the season. I'm Zane McFarlane, a rising Virgo, Sun Pisces, and a Capricorn moon, here to bring a practical, earthy, grounded version and view of these energies that are happening. Tonight, joining me is
Hi,
Drumroll.
everyone. Rochelle McFarlane. I'm here as a rising Pisces, Libra moon, and Capricorn sun, here to help you merge with the season of Pisces. And I'm pretty excited because this is my new year that we are going to be talking about today. There's so much that I want to talk about when it comes to the body tool that we're going to use, helping us to also align with that fire horse season. Before we get into all that, we're going to pop in and check in with those that are here live. If you're wanting to have more information about the transits throughout Pisces seasons, make sure to follow us on the Energetic Brew, both on Facebook and Instagram. We'll see you in a moment. Welcome back.
So, who's going to start? We kind of talked about it, kind of didn't.
No,
So,
we sure didn't.
Pisces season.
Yeah.
It starts at 7:52 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on February 18th.
Shout out to Kate's Lens. It's her birthday. Happy birthday, Caitlin. Might not watch it, but that's okay. There is something very interesting that's going to be happening in Pisces season. But before we get into that, we just want to share some love. For those that show up live, you get to ask us questions and do all sorts of fun things in behind the scenes where you might learn that I almost canceled this class and this gathering because my gaming obsession was getting a little out of control. Yes, those of you, let us know in the chat down below. Do you know what Settlers of Catan is? I have recently learned about this game, and I said to the folks that are here with us live that I would do my check-in live here and share in the most transparent way. Pisces season is going to be about us looking into ourselves, looking into where do we maybe have addictions and maybe where we might need to really self-reflect that hidden underness. And one of the hidden undernesses within me is I canceled all commercial holidays many years ago. It's been almost a decade now since I've done that. And in turn, what I've gifted my children is my time. And so I learn games that they like to play so then I can spend time with them and that I get to go into their inner world and also heal my inner child. Before I create an ocean of tears from my eyes, I think there is such a hiddenness that needs to be seen as the sun moves into Pisces season. This is going to be something for us to witness within ourselves. For me, as a rising Pisces, this will be my new year. This will be when I feel like it's the new beginnings and the new parts of myself to merge. Before I get further into that, Zane, is there anything you wanted to share, or should we talk about some of the pieces and the themes of Pisces season?
Hmm. I would say talking about those themes within Pisces season kind of idea, leaning into that sense of what is Pisces, because you're kind of leaning, trying to explain a few pieces, but let's really break that down and help break it into those bite-sized pieces for everybody that is getting into astrology and wanting to learn. So, Pisces is mutable water. It's ruled by Jupiter and Neptune. And this transition encourage us to soften, to reflect, and connect to something greater than ourselves. It's time to trust our intuition, engage in creative practices, and focus on emotional healing. That's kind of what you're talking about with the whole sense of stepping away from commercial holidays and coming back to spending time with your children kind of idea, that sense of focusing on emotional healing, healing that inner child, giving the parent role a little bit more to what maybe you're looking for in life. And then that sense of Hmm, that sense of softening and to reflect upon life as well, in a sense, with Pisces season, reflecting it kind of like what you're saying and within your check-in. Is there
I'm
anything
so
else that you
glad
would
you
like?
can. I'm so glad you can translate for those that don't know me as well as you do. There is something about that Pisces energy is that it's mutable, and that mutability means that it's looking for a container to fill. And if there are no boundaries put into place or no container put into place, Pisces energy can feel like floodgates. It can feel like a tidal wave. It can feel like a tsunami. So during this season, really start to notice where you might need to put into some boundaries into place. So some of the themes also that you might want to pay attention to when it comes to the sign of Pisces is our intuition, our spirituality, the practices that we might have, and the imagination. There is something so beautiful because Pisces is represented as the two fish. We've got the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. What do we see? But also, what is underneath under all of that? Pisces, some of the key words are compassion, empathy, emotional sensitivity, creativity, dreams, and artistic inspiration. And in my motherhood, it's also autistic inspiration that I want to add in there. And understanding that neurodivergency can show up in many forms and many shapes. And then it's again about dissolving boundaries and surrendering control. Zane, you want to talk about the shadow side? You're really good at that.
Shadow side, just as everything, there's a good and a bad. There's for Pisces, it's that sense of we can feel that sense of overwhelm take over because we are losing our boundaries and having that high sensitivity of creativity and gain intuitive hits that we can have that sense of overwhelm and get a sense of overwhelm from it. And coming from the overwhelm can come avoidance. And we can be avoiding what we need to get done, work, could just be doing simple self-care that we're avoiding, even just doing simple things like making the bed, washing the dishes, right? Simple things. Doesn't need to be a grand, major thing that you're avoiding, like I have a major deadline at work that I need to put together. It could be that, but it doesn't have to be something big like that. It can be tiny, minute, little tiny things throughout life that can show up with the sense of avoidance. Again, since we're dissolving our boundaries in Pisces seasons, it can be the lack of boundaries and having no boundary at all. So we need to find that healthy bouncing back and forth of where is the good amount where I can let down the boundary, but not to the point where that dam now it has flooded over because the boundary was built too high and the floodgates weren't open, but then not open so much that all suddenly the water pressure pulls the whole entire dam with it, losing the boundary that was there. So that gentle balance of needing to find where the good point is. And then with Pisces, with it being inner, conscious, subconscious, we can go too far into fantasy, not realizing what is fantasy and what is reality. That sense of what is real, what is fantasy, and getting really absorbed and washed away into the fantasy world, possibly coming from that sense of overwhelm or coming from that sense of avoidance. And that's our style of avoidance could be through that sense of fantasy and looking for that sense of escape, being able to escape through there. So that's the shadow side.
That's pretty deep too. And being able to understand. So depending on where Pisces shows up in your chart, that is how Pisces will be expressed. There is something that we want to bring forward too, because a lot to do with what we're here to help is to break things down so that there isn't a sense of overwhelm. And when we look at our charts, my chart and Zane's chart, we're starting to realize why we want to break those down into small bits for people. And that's because where Pisces lands inside of our chart. And tonight, we're usually, for those that have been watching along, we'll go through all 12 houses. Tonight, we've decided to start to do something a little bit different. We're going to talk about the access as opposed to where it is all inside of the houses and bringing you a lot of info dump. We want to actually roll that back. If you're wanting to know more about your chart, you want to learn about your chart or receive a reading with us, go ahead and send us an email, theenergeticbrew@gmail.com. And tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to just talk about the access of Virgo and Pisces and how us living into our chart has helped us to sort of shape and form these gatherings going forward. So, Zane, I have, and then we're going to go over back to our group that's here with us to talk about that further, answer their questions in a private setting. And again, that's also something that I feel Pisces energy is about that sense of what's hidden, what's seen. And it's also about how do we merge with other people? How do we connect? How do we dissolve and to become that sense of oneness? I really think that's because Neptune is the ruler and Jupiter is the ruler of Pisces, so there's this planetary energetics to Pisces. So Zane, you want to go over how we're going to go about this with that house 1 and 7 within our chart?
So, yeah, it's that sense of when there's a new solar season, so time being Pisces season, we can come to our chart and look at our personal chart to then help kind of see where the sun is lighting up and work with these transiting brew ingredients that we have happening during Pisces season. Also, those brew ingredients that are within our personal chart. So, by looking at your own chart, looking for which house Pisces lands in, is how you can tell where the sun is lighting up for you in life. For me and Rochelle, it is house 1 and house 7. And so those houses talk about self, but then also others. So house 1 is about self, that sense of diving into self, looking at how to change. What am I going to look at coming this over this next 12 months? How am I going to transform? It's also the sense of the physical body a little bit, as it is that sense of how we show up. And so that Pisces energy is like how can I physically show up and merge with others in a sense of how can I join in what they're doing? What can I do with what this person's doing? How can I show up in a way that is just a little bit of everything, a little bit everywhere? But then, as a matter of fact, of reeling self back in and finding that boundary a little bit. So that's house 1. Do you want to do house 7?
Sure, I'll do house 7. House 7 is a lot to do with how do we merge with others? What is our relationship like? For those that are married, what is my marriage like? What is my relationship like? And also, the sun will be bringing light, life, and vitality to contracts and opportunities to create contracts. So, this is quite an interesting time. So, if you are a rising Pisces or a rising Virgo, we have completely helped you. This For those that are a different rising sign, do reach out. We would love to help you further. I think I've covered it because I don't think I have anything else. I think it was just in our notes, we're going to transition over to community time and supporting those that are here live. So if you want to join us, you can do so. There's a link down in our description down below so you can join us. It is the second Thursday of every month. And again, this is about us helping to build a community of people who are here to want to learn about astrology, talk about astrology, and geek out, nerd out like we like to too. So with that, we're going to pause. For those watching the recording, you're going to blink your eyes. Unless you pause, we'll be right back. Always had control of the buttons. Being a mom, you surrender your buttons to be pushed. and pulled and twerked and all of the things. And I think that was really inappropriate of me. But at the same time, this full moon in Virgo has a lot of potency, and I can start to already feel this energy. So pull out your chart, take a look at where Virgo is in your chart. Mark down in your calendar March the 3rd at 3:38 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We will have the full moon in Virgo. This is because the sun will be in Pisces and the moon will be in Virgo. There is this time for us to be again accessing information from our subconscious, from our nervous system, and being able to really illuminate the truth within ourselves. Collectively speaking, this is the health axis. So, taking some time to nurture ourselves, to really find what it is that we need in order to feel like we can celebrate the truth of who we are, the truth of our health, the truth of how we might surrender control, how we might look at our daily rituals, our dreams, and of course, learning to celebrate and trust our intuition. This is what this full moon is going to be about. Zane, you want to continue on with some of the themes that we might be looking at with this illumination?
For sure. So, continuing on with those themes, we got the sense of refining our habits and routines, bringing structure to your creativity and spiritual goals. Again, bringing that boundary in, containing Pisces, but in a way that's not overwhelming or making Pisces avoid how to tackle and bring more structure in, right? In a good, healthy way. This other themes are letting go of that perfective being per needing to like how to get perfective perfection, just like how that sentence is.
It's like,
It just
fuck
yeah.
perfectionism. That's what Zane wants to say. That's the head is throwing
Well,
up.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Let us know in the chat, those that are here live. You want to say fuck perfectionism too? Zane, be on Team Zane.
yeah. And then also that sense of getting that over criticism and that sense of criticizing too much. That's what this full moon is about, in that sense of releasing that sense of needing to look perfect. How to let go of that, which, if that wasn't just a clear example, I don't know what is. And then also focusing on our health, organization, and service to others. That's what this full moon is about. We have a few questions here that you can ask yourself and ponder upon within this full moon coming up on March 3rd. So go ahead and write these down, get a journal out, write them down so then you can start thinking about them now in preparation of this full moon, which are: what habits are draining me? Where am I overworking or overgiving? What's perfection, that word again, perfectionism, am I letting go of? So what are you needing to let go and find that perfect tweak to? What can you let go of during this full moon in Virgo? Now, would you like to go over with some of these ideas of that we can have ritual wise in this full moon with Virgo?
Yeah, absolutely. So, a suggestion we have as a ritual is to take a piece of paper that is as clean as possible, meaning that you can write down a habit that you're ready to let go of. And instead of burning it, what we were encouraging is to actually work with the elements of Virgo and the elements of Pisces. So you can choose to make it as an offering to the water. You can make it as an offering to the earth. So one of the things that I thought of that was really creative is that for those that might use specific paper that might dissolve in water, you could use it, and with that water you could then water something like a plant or some seedlings, something to that part of like taking something that you're letting go of as an offering to be able to then give it back to the earth, to be able to let your plants drink it up. Let us know down below if that's something that you would like to do or participate in. And then to incorporate the body with this full moon, we're going to suggest a foot rub. So maybe you do it for yourself, or maybe, offer to serve it to someone else. Better yet, if you've been giving too much, ask for a foot rub for yourself. This will help to anchor in that whole letting go of whatever that habit was that you were wanting to let go of. And maybe for some, maybe there's a couple of habits that you might want to write down. You can choose to participate in this ritual how it feels suitable for you. It's kind of like you pick your own journey. So, this is a really, as Zane was saying, it's a powerful time to start to evaluate our daily life, what needs to be adjusted when it comes to our emotional and spiritual well being. And there could be some cues and clues inside of your chart. So, check those mutable signs, see whether it's landing in your chart. And if you're needing some more help or more education, please reach out. And for those that are just looking for a reading, we're available to do that as well. So, send us an email and we will help you locate those. Zane, you want to move over into the new moon in Pisces?
Sure, this new moon in Pisces happens on March 18th. New moons mark new beginnings, intentions, and fresh cycles. And this new moon is happening at the late degrees of Pisces, giving us that sense of hmm, intensifying the themes of closure, that sense of spiritual endings before the sun moves into Aries. So that sense of this is a new moon for that sense of what things can I bring in the sense of new beginnings, but then maybe what can I also start to maybe close off? What can I start to call in and start bringing an end to? What's been maybe delayed on that sense of bringing an end to it and letting it drag out. So this new moon really bringing in that sense of, yeah, bring in can I bring an end to something that I've been meaning to finish off. There's a few other themes here. Would you like to share them?
Sure. As you were doing it, I just had to pull up our chart and our charts and to take a look. This is something that I find so potent is that when we can start to track these little tidbits and to be able to put into play, this is where we can really utilize the themes of deep emotional renewal. We can let go of the past, setting intentions for forgiveness and for healing. And I almost want to put like healing forgiveness and forgiveness healing, being able to blend those two together. Again, just living into who I am as a rising Pisces, wanting to merge the ideas in a way that entertains my mind. Strengthening our spiritual practices during this new moon will also help. And then trusting the divine timing. So, setting some intentions where we're not actually looking for them to be taking, just really being able to take them to be taking root, but not necessarily having them to have an instant manifestation. So this Pisces energy is really about slower, allowing ourselves to be okay with going at a slower pace instead of feeling like we're quickening and going so fast. Some of the intention questions that we have here, you might want to write these down. What am I spiritually outgrowing? What cycle is fully complete? What new dreams want to be planted? These are some questions because this is at the final degrees of Pisces and Pisces is the last zodiac. There is this real sense of completion, like what Zane was talking about. It's a place where we can be letting go of those old emotional patterns and to prepare for that rebirth of Aries season. So there's something that we want to really again look at is like how can we soften and surrender and trust the unseen. So that etheric energy, how can we trust our emotions more? How can we trust those serendipitous moments when, we think, is it coincidence or was it just incidental that it's happened? I really truly believe that with Pisces season having a kickoff right before, like, the eclipse is going to happen right before Pisces season happens. This full moon and this new moon are going to carry some ecliptic energy with it. So one of the affirmations that we wanted to share with you was, I am safe to soften and I trust the flow of life. Now, with that said, that there are things that are going to be dissolving and leaving, and there are, so that there's room for new beginnings. Pisces really wants to teach us to flow. The fact that it's a water element, it wants us to trust our intuition further. I know that we're keeping on repeating this, but it's because the intuition, I truly believe, has been dampened in many of us. And there's this part also with Pisces energy of like wanting us to accept support, that saying yes to help is a good thing, and then that we can also develop a stronger connection to our subconscious mind. There is so much more that I want to share here. Before we do, I think we're going to have a quick pause, check in with our community that's here with us, and see if they have any questions about their charts and also about how to work further with it for themselves with that full moon and that new moon. If you'd like to join us, make sure that you can email us, theenergeticbrew@gmail.com. And then there's also a link down below so that you can join our next call. Again, they're the second Thursday of every month. We'll see you again soon. I love this so much. Our community time is more than just talking about astrology. It's about living it, it's about breathing it, and having intimate conversations. And if this is something that has been missing in your life, come and join us, because we share projects that we're working on and actually feel like we are together as one. And something that has been missing in my life is where we can actually just be ourselves and transparent. Back to the final little tidbits, the brew bits that we want to help you with to make Pisces season the best for you is a body tool. Before I get into the body tool, I do want to say that just before, the day before Pisces season starts, mark your calendar for February 17th. And this is a really profound time because we have a solar eclipse and the Chinese New Year starting on the same day. So, taking some time to really understand the energy of the horse year, but also setting some intentions around what does community look like for you and what are you calling in when it comes to developing community spaces. We hope, of course, we're a little bit biased that you choose us because we think we're awesome and we think you're awesome too. And that's why you're watching this recording right now. As the Pisces season starts, there is this real intentional moment in history for us to really look at a new 60-year cycle, because the fire horse only comes every 60 years. And this is really a time for us to think about aligning with the horse energy. Our body tool that we chose is going to help you do that as well. So before we get into that, I want to talk about horse energy and what it represents. It represents freedom, movement, passion, charisma, and of course, independence. So, how we are going to be amplified in this next 12-month process during the fire horse year is going to really be amplifying emotional intensity, impulsivity, being able to like really find ways to be visible and to be seen, to be heard. It's going to help us with our creative drive. And then it's also going to be activating our nervous system in a different way. So if you're not following us on social media already, we give little tidbits throughout the year, every week, to be able to help you with that nervous system activity. Now, the downside. Zane, you want to you did the shadow aspects last time. Does that mean you want to do them again, or shall I keep
Shadow
going?
ones again.
I mean, I'm a horse. I'm If those of you haven't known yet, I can go and go and go.
Yeah. But those that can't go and go can experience burnout during this time. and dramatic reactions, acting before feeling, and overextension. Maybe you've experienced that one as a horse, overextension a few times. The emotional surges, inspired but scattered action happening, highly high empathy and high intensity, that passion without grounding. I'm reading things, seeing things now that they weren't bolded in the notes, and maybe have gone into another section here that aren't necessarily completely shadow things. But again, that's Virgo full moon kind of coming into play a little bit here, in that sense of possibly also Pisces season of those boundaries not put into place and being dissolved and showing up live here on the recording.
I would agree though, because part of without our integration and like finding body tools to keep us grounded in the year of the horse, there is going to be that fiery energy that is there, that where emotional surges and regulation may not exist, because the two of them coming together, this energetic of fire and horse going together. If you've never experienced wildfire, this is the energy that we're going to be going into. The fact that it's also a one energy year on top of that, now we have this real drive to go, this real drive to get things done. But here's the thing, we actually need to step back, feel the energy, and say, oh, how can I now use it to navigate myself into the things that I do want to desire and create and manifest? I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. So, how can we support ourselves during this horse year, but also specifically in Pisces season? Because here at the Brew, we want to break things down into the smaller cycles within cycles so that you can stay out of overwhelm, so that you can feel passionate, and also at the same time feeling like you can put yourself into some boundaries and be productive with your passions instead of hours and hours at the pottery studio and you have nothing to show for it. Yes, I will again be very transparent. So, one of the things that I need to do is to trace meridians and to touch my own points to ground myself and to keep myself within the constructs of time. So, Zane, with his extensive amount of searching and putting the little tidbits together, he has chosen the heart meridian. You want to talk about why you chose the heart meridian for this, Zane?
Well, during this time, as we work with that Pisces season coming in, bringing us emotional sensitivity, intuition, and compassion, but alongside that fire horse coming into play, bringing us passion, movement, and intensity and action, can really make things feel fast moving, inspired but reactive, sensitive yet restless, and heighten emotions. And so that sense of those two things of a lot of emotions, that sense of overwhelm possibly coming into play, because Pisces is this high sensitivity, emotional kind of sign in the sense of wanting to express emotions, but then also merge with others. And the horse energy and fire energy is really fast paced, want to go, 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 go. And so we can find that sense of overwhelm. And from that overwhelm, we can have avoidance. So more of those shadow energies coming from horse energy and Pisces shadow side as well. So that's why we want to come back to the heart meridian to help regulate emotional intensity and keep actions aligned. So going into the quick little basic overview of what the heart meridian is. The heart meridian goes to the fire element, so bringing in that sense of fire to help balance us during Pisces season, so then we can regulate our sense of fire energy within our body. It governs joy and emotional balance, helping us again. That's sense of Pisces, making sure that we have that emotional balance, finding that structure within our emotions. And so when we trace the heart meridian, it can help us regulate how we feel, connect, express emotion, act from passion. So these are a few things that can help. Like when we help support our heart meridian, those are things that can come with ease and feel easier to do. And so, again, that sense of within Pisces season, if you're feeling extra emotional, more empathetic, more sensitive to others' moods, and dreamy and inward, the heart meridian can be somewhere to kind of come to and help with that sense of extra emotion, help with your empathy and in that sense of balancing it so then it's not too much for you to handle. And that sense of being able to also come back to what is reality as well.
I love that. I love that you chose that one. Did you want to bring it up? I don't know if you had that ready to be
Yes.
able to do that. The other part that what really got me thinking about the heart meridian and being able to help us with this, whether it's that we've been feeling sort of up and down, or one of our community members, I loved this, but like feeling like a backlogged computer shifting out of old programming. This is the heart meridian is a place that we can have as a go-to. When Zane brings it up, you'll see that it starts in the armpit and it goes out of the outside of the arm and out the pinky finger. And so two things made me kind of giggle about this. One is having as many children as I do, the heart is what gets started first. And thinking about this like intention setting that we can create, thinking about how we can start to utilize how we merge with others too. We have that heart coherence. Also, when we make like a pinky swear, in a sense, we're joining our pinkies. And that made me think, oh, I'm like, oh, this is us actually joining in our hearts together. So as you can see, feel free to annotate that again too, Zane, and just really bring up the heightened line here. That as we trace it from the armpit all the way down the arm, and we can do it on both sides. The invitation again is to pay attention to how this feels. Do you need lighter touch? Do you need to slow down? Do you need deeper touch when it comes to tracing the meridian? And so the meridians are our backup line within our bodies. It is the pulsation to help as almost like a battery system for the heart and the heart energy within our body, the fire within us. So when it comes to self-care during Pisces season, really take time for yourself, trace that heart meridian, and for goodness sake, if you're feeling like you need more support, please do reach out. We're here to offer you educational resources, furthering your understanding. And then, of course, we're also here to help give those that are wanting the readings where they're not so much into the education, but it's just like, just explain to me what I need to do next. We're also here for that as well. Let us know down below if you have questions, and also do let us know how did this feel for you when you were tracing your meridian, so you can set some intentions. When we're feeling out of balance, we can now flip it to the positive. I am feeling balanced. And then tracing that meridian as many times as you need to, based on the touch that you are looking for. We've got some affirmations here, which you're also welcome to do and speak out loud or say in your head, whatever is more comfortable for you. Zane, is there anything that you want to add that I might have missed on that?
Hmm. Hmm. No, nothing that I can really think of besides that sense of come back to this meridian when there's that sense of feeling overwhelmed or sense of trying to avoid whatever little tiny things might be coming up during Pisces season. Even if we're feeling really good, it can be that sense of coming back to just trace it because maybe it will bring up that sense of, oh, maybe I was avoiding swapping the laundry around. Maybe it was that I was avoiding sweeping the floor after you've traced the meridian. Those little tiny things that might pop up because it can help activate that energy line within our heart meridian and heart space, but then also that sense of within Pisces season, activate that subconscious a little bit more to help get blood flow to our brain. So then that sense of memory kicks in and goes, oh, I did need to actually go and do that and have that happen. And so it can be that sense of a little bit of an extra push too. So, yeah.
I love that. And of course, our heart works like that vortex, pushing and pulling and pushing and pulling all of our blood and all of the nutrients throughout our body. So, of course, tracing this from the armpit down to the baby finger, both sides of your body, can also help to open up that sense of love and that sense of self appreciation and self acceptance. So, I think with that, we will bid adieu for those of you that are watching this recording. We appreciate your time that you are investing within yourself and coming along for the ride with us. Let us know if you have questions. Take some time to follow us on social media where we post weekly posts, always good content and body tools for each weekly transit. And again, share this content if you found value in it, and that will be a way for you to help others. This has been so amazing. Thanks again. And Zane, any closing thoughts?
Well, besides happy Pisces season, may it be a great one for you. And yeah, let that perfectionism drop during this full moon in Virgo. So, yeah,
I love it. You got it. Perfectionism.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Such a myth. It's in the eye of the beholder.
yeah.
Until next time, enjoy and thanks again. We'll see you next time.